welcome to the second hour of this week's edition of World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley reporting from Washington, D.C. Now, as traditionally happens here, this is the point in our show where we want to get an update on the fight to defend the U.S. Constitution, and specifically the parts of it that Obama is trying to trample on, those pesky provisions about natural-born citizen, 35 years old, and generally the question of the rule of law. And no better source for that than the alpha birther. It's Phil J. Berg, distinguished attorney of Philadelphia, Democratic Party official, Democratic candidate for governor and senator of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and a great friend. So, Phil, are you there?
How you doing? Yes, I am. How you doing?
Great to see you. Can you give us the latest news on that critical front?
Right. Well, not much changed since last week, but we are continuing our fight. I direct everyone to go to our website. We've been trying to put new data up there, obamacrimes.com, OBAMACRIMES.com. Interesting is someone put together, I don't have the name in front of me, something about Obama, and people should take a look at it. We posted it, and it's just item after item after item, and the people just said, well, I don't really care, I don't really care, I don't really care. And then the punchline was that we're now a socialist nation, and people did care, but it's too late. And people should take a look at that and realize that we're in real trouble with this, with Obama. But we have to get back to, and I'm going to plead again, the people that are saying that the Tea Party people that don't want anything to do with the birth certificate issue. Not because that's me, but the birth certificate issue is the most significant issue of probably the history of our country. This is the biggest fraud, biggest hoax in our country in 230 years, put forth by Obama. He is not a natural-born citizen. He's not even, I believe, naturalized. I believe he's an illegal alien. I believe that, and it's one of our lawsuits, that his term as United States Senator from Illinois was fraudulent because if he was not naturalized, he couldn't even hold that office. It's really imperative that we do something now because Obama really doesn't care about the United States. His allegiance, whenever he's doing anything, and he even did it in his recent speech on the war, sending troops, he's always apologizing for the United States. You know, we don't have to apologize for what we've done. We're not perfect, but we don't go around apologizing. We don't go around bowing to the king of Saudi Arabia. Then he bowed to the emperor of Japan. We don't do those things, and it's really degrading to this United States. But the biggest issue is the reason he's doing all these things, he doesn't care. But he doesn't care, but people like Glenn Beck should realize that if he would put people into office that Glenn Beck thinks are wrong, that one of them thought that the Mao was the best that he looked up to, we have to look carefully at the entire situation. If he would do all these other things, Obama, why can't everyone believe he would come up with no birth certificate, no legitimate birth certificate? And he hasn't. And the reason he hasn't produced it, and the reason he spent $1.6 million up to now, is that he's a phony. If he was really born in Hawaii, we would have seen his long-form vault birth certificate a long time ago. We would have heard from people that were in the operating room, the delivery room, when he was born, because he would be known, because, you know, people would remember something like that. They'd go back in their thought process. They'd be looking it up. No one has come forth because he wasn't born here. As his step-grandmother says, and it's in Swahili on our website, obamacrimes.com, she was in the hospital when he was born there in Mombasa, Kenya, on August 4th, 1961. And it's so imperative that we do this because, you know, the basic, our U.S. Constitution, and the reason I'm doing this, there's nothing more important than our U.S. Constitution, which was drafted here in Philadelphia, followed by the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. I mean, these documents have sustained us for the past 230-plus years. Other countries have tried to adopt it, try to copy it, try to do things, and some have succeeded and most haven't. And it has held our nation together. And you can't have someone like Obama just walking all over the Constitution. I bring the attention back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor of California, a Republican, many people for the last 10, 15 years have talked to him about running for president. And he knows because he's not natural born, he's naturalized, he was born in Austria, that the Constitution would have to be amended. So he's saying amend the Constitution. Barack Obama says, I basically don't care about the Constitution. I'm walking all over the Constitution. So our case of proceeding, one is in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. We're asking them for a reconsideration or a court en banc. And after that, if they turn it down or don't have the hearing, then we're going to go to the U.S. Supreme Court. The other case is are on appeal to the United States District Court, Circuit Court for the District of Columbia. One is we just filed a petition for a friend of court brief in the Hollister case. That's the retired Air Force colonel.
Great.
And the other, which I think is the most significant case, is the Quickham or False Claims Act case. The reason that's what I'm suing, saying that he's not natural born, not naturalized, because that type case has already been ruled by the Supreme Court as the person bringing that action, in this case me, has standing. And standing is what's stopping the proceeding of all these other cases around the country. So I think that really is the most significant case, and we're going to be pushing on that. But I'm dedicated. I told you from the get-go that we're going to continue this till we legally remove Obama from office. I was on radio this week with Reverend James Manning, who was intimidated by the CIA and the police in the past couple of weeks for supposedly saying he wanted to shoot the president. He didn't say that. What he came out and said on the show is he said Obama should be tried for treason, and after he's found guilty, he should go before the firing squad. That's what he said. That's a lot different. No one wants anything to happen to Obama in office. We don't want to make a martyr out of him. He belongs in jail or he belongs deported. So that's where we are right now. I need people to support us by spreading the word to everyone they can on their address book, and also if you can make a financial contribution, because it's a costly endeavor. I'm not sure this is about my 16th month doing this, but we're going to continue doing this, and we appreciate the support of you, Webster, and having us on weekly to bring an update.
Phil, I want to call your attention to the fact that Obama's half-sister, Maya Sotoro Ung, is on book tour, and the occasion is the publication of this thesis by Obama's mother, right, Stanley Ann Dunham, the anthropologist. Her 1,000-page but cut-down doctoral dissertation on traditional blacksmiths, artisan blacksmiths in Indonesia. And in the course of some of these interviews, Maya Sotero Ung says that she's really not happy that one of her interviews with a student newspaper, I think in Hawaii, is the basis of a quibble. She says, I said Obama was born here up the road, and people thought it meant the Kapawani Hospital, or they thought it was the Queen's Hospital, but I really meant the Kapawani Hospital, and therefore that got garbled. So she's back to this issue of which hospital, right? Because that was an interesting point, that they couldn't get their story straight about which hospital Obama was supposedly born in, right? Indicating perhaps neither. So this is an opportunity for people to come forward. She was on the Diana Rehm show on WAMU here in Washington, and she's undoubtedly on a kind of book tour around Obama's mother's thesis.
Interesting. Well, keep up on that. If you find any good points come out, or any of your listeners do, get in contact with you or with me, and we'll pursue it, because there's going to be a slip-up one of these days, because the truth will come out. But it's true, because she did make, I'll have to look back, see where they got it from, but she did make statements that he was born in two different hospitals. So she's trying to cover her can at this point.
Exactly.
So that's great news. Your listeners follow up and let Webster know, and thank you for allowing us and Obama.
We'll see you next week. We'll catch up with you next week. Bill Berg, ObamaCrimes.com. Make your contribution. We'll be back in a minute.